I am going to talk about something that holds back so many English learners, wrong assumptions towards learning English. See, already I made one video on this particular topic, and this is the second part of this video. And so many people nowadays are not even able to understand what are the wrong assumptions they are assuming in their mind while learning English. So, if you can watch this video till the end, you can find so many solutions and you can remove all those assumptions from your mind, and it will be very useful for you to get the fluency in English. Okay, try to stick to the end of this video. The first assumption is watching English movies or series is a waste of time. If you are feeling like that, you are making a mistake. Why? Because watching English or movies is very important in English learning process, right? If you are thinking it's a waste of time and you cannot even improve and you cannot even understand the pronunciation of English, right? So it is very important, and it doesn't make, and it doesn't waste your time, right? So the more videos or movies if you watch, you can able to understand the pronunciation, the slang of the words, and how they are pronouncing the words, right? And how they are using words, right? Is it, if these are being simple uh, or hard, right? You can easily able to find, right? Of course, in initial days you cannot able to understand every single word what they are talking about, but over the process definitely you can able to find and you can able to understand complete. But at the initial days, if you're feeling like I'm not able to understand, I'm going to quit this job, and I'm not even improving my fluency by watching these English videos or movies, whatever you call, you're making a mistake. So, because English is not your native language and English is not your mother tongue, to able to understand every single word, whatever you have watched, right? So that is the thing you have to understand. Initial days, it will be very hard to understand, and you can watch videos and movies with using subtitles also. Over the process, if you are feeling comfortable and if you are feeling very easy to understand, then you can remove subtitles and you can watch movies or podcasts or videos without using subtitles also. So this is the thing you have to be understand. So just don't ignore this topic, and this is very important. Watching English movies or podcasts, and one of the most more important benefit you will get, which is your mind can easily process English, right? So whatever you listen, whatever you watch in those movies, and over the process, your mind will try to get attached with those words or phrases what they have use it, right, in those movies, right? I hope you got my point. Just don't ignore to watching movies on and listening podcasts or videos on YouTube, right? So if you're feeling uncomfortable, just the initial days, just try to watch them with using that subtitles. Over the process, if you're feeling comfortable, and then you can watch videos or movies without using subtitles. Okay. The second assumption is, if I'm not speaking fast, that means I'm not fluent. If you are thinking like that, and you don't even need to worry about it. See, fluency is not about speaking fast, right? Fluency is all about expressing your emotions and thoughts in a clear way, right? So if you can able to express your emotions and your point of view to others using, even you are using, by using simple words or simple phrases, but if you are, if you can able to understand your point of view in an easy way to others people, that means you are fluent at English, right? It doesn't mean how, what are the uh, complicated words you are using, what are the uh, critical sentences you are using in your conversation, right? It doesn't mean like that, right? Because you are not a professional speaker in English, you are trying to get the fluency in English. So the more important is all about you have to express your point of view to the people by using simple words or sentences. Otherwise, if you're feeling like I'm not speaking very fast, it means I'm not even getting fluency in English, right? So it doesn't make sense, right? I hope you got my point. Just don't bother about this point. It's a very underestimated point, and it's very underestimated assumption. You need not to worry about it. If if you can able to express your thoughts and emotions, you using with simple words, that means you are a fluent speaker, right? The only thing you are using simple words, right? You are using very uh, small, you're having small conversations, right? So it means you are improving yourself over the time, right? So try to know about this point. English is not about speaking fast. English is all about speaking clear and expressing your point of view in a clear way, right? Even if you're speaking very slow, or even if you're speaking, uh, even if you're taking some pauses in between having the conversation, it is okay. It is okay. You need not to bother about it. Just try to understand the reality. And even native speakers doesn't speak very fast. They take pauses in between, and they try to give some breaks to the audience also, right? So it doesn't mean I should never stop while speaking. And once if I start a conversation, I should keep on speaking and speaking. Definitely, it doesn't make even sense, right? So how does it make sense? And the third assumption is I need to understand every single word to write or read everything in English, right? If you are feeling like that, and it is also false assumption. Why? Because you are not a professional English speaker. English is not your native language. You need not to understand every single word in English, right? It will happen over the process. If you be consistency, or if you maintain focus on learning English, definitely you will able to understand every single word. But initial days, if you are at the beginner stage, how can you expect that I should understand every single word, right? So it is not even going to happen. And of course, it will happen. But if you spend at least 1 or 2 months on this particular language, definitely it will possible. But initially, and at the starting stages, I need to understand every single word. It isn't possible, right? Even I can't understand every single word in English, but I am trying to understand over the process, right? It will happen over the process. Any situation, any real thing does not happen in one single click. It takes time, and we have to be with the patience, and we have to be with the consistent. We have to maintain consistency, right? So I hope you got my point. Just don't worry about the thing. I'm not understanding what they are speaking about. Then how can I able to understand what they have spoken, right? If you are thinking like that, okay, just try to understand English by looking at their faces, right? The emotions, right? So what they are talking, and just read their faces, right? Even if you don't understand English, okay, it is okay. Just try to read about these pages, and try to understand the words by looking the emotions, right? It is very easy and simple, right? So many videos are Hindi movies. You will watch with subtitles, right? Then how can you worry about like I'm not understanding every word in English, right? Of course, it quite little look like a very complicated thing, but it will cure, and it will be possible over the process. You need not to take that much of stress, and you need not to worry about it, right? I hope you got my point. Just try to understand English, right? Don't focus on not able to understand any words, right? The fourth assumption is English is too hard to learn, right? And I'll not get it right. If you are thinking like that, again it's a false mistake, right? If you're thinking like that, it doesn't make any sense, because there are a lot of people who have learned English from the scratches, right? And now they are speaking English very fluent, and even they don't even know at least one single rule of grammar rule, but still they can able to speak in English. Then if you worrying like that, if you are thinking like that, it doesn't make sense, because you know every single word, and you know, and you are able to understand English, you are able to read English, you are able to write English. But the only thing, you are not able to speak fluently in English. It is also going to be happen, but the only thing you need to give your 100% patience and consistency to learn English, right? If you are worrying about the people are learning English, but I am not the only person, I am the only person who is not learning English. Not only you, man. There are so many people are facing this problem, but the only thing, should not give up in the middle, right? So once if you start, you should stick to this topic. And initial days, it is going to be very hard and it is going to be very tricky to understand and practice or think whatever it is. But if you spend at least 2 to 3 months on this language, definitely you will feel comfortable and you will feel very easy to speak, right? And you will never feel like uncomfortable and you will never feel like it is too hard and it is too tricky to speak and all that, right? Otherwise, no, there will be nobody can speak in English, right? The only thing you need to understand, right? English is a very common language and is comparatively with other languages, it is very easy to speak. It is very easy to understand. It is very easy to learn from the scratches, right? You need to know the reality, right? Comparatively with Hindi or some other languages will be there. English is very easy to learn, right? But the only thing, you are not giving your 100% to learn this language. Assumption is, if I am making mistakes, it means I am not good enough, right? Of course, you have to make mistakes, man. Learning English is all about making mistakes and rectifying those mistakes, right? If you don't even make at least one single mistake, then how can you able to improve your English, right? So the more mistakes you make, you can learn from those mistakes, and there will be so many chances to not to repeat those mistakes again and again, right? So if you make one mistake today, and you will try to rectify and you will try to correct this mistake in tomorrow's conversation, right? If you are feeling like I am making completely mistakes, it means I am not able to learn English, I am not able to capable for to learn this language. It doesn't make sense, right? So you have to understand the reality. English is all about making mistakes, right? Not only English, whatever the language if you take, you have to make mistakes and mistakes will happen, right? Because it is not your native language, you are not a professional speaker in English, right? So just try to understand the reality, right? Don't focus on mistakes. Mistakes are common and don't get fear about the making mistakes. So making mistakes is one of the most important thing in learning English. You have to understand the reality. Okay. These are all the 5 main wrong assumptions that people are facing from to learning English process. But you have to come out of all these assumptions. You have to erase all these assumptions in your mind, right? You have to be with a positive mode. You have to be uh, always like an optimistic, right? So the more you feel positive, then the more you can feel comfortable, the more you can get the fluency in English, right? So this is all about this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, keep practicing, keep growing, and never stop speaking. Okay.